Try and stand here. Before I go on, I hope you don't have high expectations of this, because I am just going to scratch the surface. It is a complex area, and one that I'm just basically starting off on the journey of understanding it myself. But what I do hope to get out of it is at least to start to plant the seed with a lot of people, and to start everybody thinking about it. Before I go on, does anybody have any ideas what community benefits means? Has anybody had any experience of community benefits? Somebody's nodding at the back.
Social cohesion, I suppose,
Come on up here, help me. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Here's a wee bit about me, because I didn't get my thing in time for the handouts going out. First of all, started off training with Coopers and Lybrand in Edinburgh as a CA, and then moved on from there to work with Diageo as a financial accountant. Stayed there for 6 years, and then took a very, very brave move into public sector. My friends thought I was absolutely daft, but it's actually worked out really well for me, because I just really enjoy working amongst the community, and that's why I find in particular community benefits a really, really interesting angle on public sector procurement. So started out as a finance manager, and now have been working as a corporate procurement manager for a few years now. So the big question really is, what are community benefits? And the way that I like to explain it, it's about achieving more than just the supply of the goods or services or works that we're buying. So basically, if we were to spend £1, could we get more than just £1 of goods and services? Is that being greedy? It is probably. Yeah, we are getting greedy, I suppose. We're asking for more than what we normally get. And in a time when everybody's having to sort of tighten their belts, maybe it is a bit cheeky, but I think it can actually be a win-win-win situation. You might hear about it called CBIP, or Community Benefits in Procurement. There was actually a document in 2008 that I think was called CBIP. You might also hear it talked about social value, and the NHS kind of referred to it as social value. The NHS have been more advanced in this than I think certain local authorities have been up until now. Like the gentleman at the back there said, these are some of the sort of main benefits that are currently coming out of this area. The big question for me is really, what does the community want? If this is about benefiting the community, then who is the community? What are the community groups? What do they want? How can we fulfil those wants? Can procurement really help with that? Is it in our legal remit to do that? These are all sort of questions that are going through my head at the moment, and what I'm trying to do is find out, is there something in our council that tells me what the community wants, so that I don't have to go out there and find that out? What I'm finding is, I'll come on to that in a second, is there are actually documents within the council, and some of that work has been done. So these are sort of typical things that have been achieved so far. Targeted recruitment, what does that mean? It means that when you recruit, you're either recruiting certain groups that are of value to the council, or from certain places that you go to recruit from. Targeted training and work experience, again, can it be that there are certain training placements work placements you can offer, work experience? It might even be that you finish off an apprenticeship that you've got that was possibly you weren't going to be able to finish it off because of the economy. Could you do career talks? Could you go into a school and tell them what it's like to be a lawyer, or be a design consultant, or run a building business? Could you help develop smaller businesses? Obviously this is small and medium-sized businesses, but could you together do something that would be of mutual benefit to surrounding businesses? And is there anything you could do to benefit the environment? So basically, once I started to get into this, the more I get into it, I really do think that it's basically sustainable procurement in disguise. Sustainable procurement has been out there for quite a while, and something I'm particularly interested in. And often people focus in, when they say sustainable procurement, they immediately talk about green and the environment. And I'd actually recently gone on a 3-day intensive course with RAP, and spent the first day talking about how wide it could be, and then the next 2 days just looking at the environmental issues, you know, so we did sort of fall into that. They fell into that trap themselves. So we focused just on the environment circle and missed out social economy. And really what we're interested in is all three and how they link in together and how important each one is to the other. And they do actually interlink. When I look at community benefits and procurement, I think there's a lot of social economy and environment in there. So I think probably, you know, there's at least a significant overlap, if not roughly the same thing. And another phrase that I think is linked to all of this is corporate social responsibility, which again has been out there a lot. And if you Google corporate social responsibility policy, you'll find hundreds of them. You know, most companies have got one now, and it tends to be that they'll maybe sponsor football strips or something like that. So, you know, smaller companies anyway would maybe do that. But it can vary right up to, you know, building a play park for a village or something like that. So I think there's actually, again, you know, quite a lot of overlap between all of these areas, and I'm not quite sure why we've ended up with three different things, for three different ways of describing roughly the same things, but that seems to be the way it is. So now that you have a rough idea of what we mean by community benefits, how do you respond to that? What are you thinking now? Are you sitting there thinking, oh hell, this is another hurdle I've got to jump over to get a public sector contract? Or are you thinking, this is actually a good opportunity? There's something here that I can differentiate our business from the business next door, or the business that's down south of England, or wherever that business may be. There's something that I can offer here that is going to mean that I've got a little bit of an edge on another organisation. Hopefully you're thinking it's an opportunity. We, as you know, I think you would know by now anyway, can't use the word local. You know, and it's a source of frustration to us procurement managers, because obviously the councils do have a remit to support the local economy, but we can't. It's completely contravenes the EU regulations, which is about opening up the market, not closing it down to your local area. But my view on community benefits is that, and sustainable procurement is that it could be a tool that helps us help you, and helps local companies get businesses. Can you think of reasons where being local gives you an advantage? Being local means that you can do certain things that a company from, for example, the south of England, not got anything against the south of England, but a company much further away can't do because they're not local. And if there is something like that, then be sure and say it, be sure and sell that point, because we can't say you've got to be local. We have to be clever sometimes in our specifications and how we describe things. So for example, it might be that if it's roads maintenance, that you have to be able to respond to a call within 20 minutes or something like that. And that might well mean that it's a company from south of England that sets up somewhere in our area and they've got an office there or a depot or whatever. So you know, we can't argue against that. But what I find, my experience is that in East Lothian we've got a roughly 33% split between small businesses, medium businesses and large businesses. My experience, particularly of small businesses, is that they care. They care much more than large businesses, and that actually counts for a lot. When they don't like to get bad feedback, they really do want to make sure that you get a good experience. They're more flexible, they're more responsive. So there are advantages, I think, certainly in being small businesses.